Do you want to do more than follow orders, think outside of the box, and manifest your dreams? Then you've come to the right show. Welcome to the award-winning podcast, Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. I'm your host, Jen Amos, a Gold Star daughter, veteran spouse, and entrepreneur. For Season 7, I am ecstatic to be in partnership with the Rosie Network to highlight motivational stories of personal growth, financial awareness, and autonomy in our military community. Now, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. Oh my goodness, we are almost at the end, y'all. We are almost at the end of Season 7 of Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth in partnership with the Rosie Network. Can you believe it? I can't. It's been a long journey, I'll tell you that. And I talk a lot about it in our free portal, which is available for you to sign up now at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. Anyway, before I get ahead of myself, let me go ahead and talk about this final interview we get to do with UX design expert and project manager for US VetWealth, Adrian Suzuki-Cruz, also my best friend of 20 years. We continue the conversation from last Thursday, and I want to open up with this quote that I really love that he said in this conversation. He said, "Entrepreneurship is definitely not a chia pet. And if you don't know what a chia pet is, it probably means that you're too young to listen to this podcast." I say that jokingly. But if you do know it, then yeah, we're definitely in that age group, a similar age group to know what chia pets are. But anyway, Adrian continues to share how working with us at US VetWealth has given him the confidence to pursue his own business. I mean, he even talks about how he started working with us to begin with, which in the last recording, it was because he was trying to build his portfolio for his UX design courses. And, in this conversation, I thank him emphatically because he really exposed us to a lot of our blind spots in building a business from the ground up. And, one of our blind spots definitely is hoping, is actually not knowing how the user end is receiving everything we're putting out there online for free. It may be for free, but if people don't actually know how to receive it, how to digest it, how to take action on it, then we're just creating a bunch of noise, right? So he really helps us make all of our free content here at US VetWealth available in the Military Retirement Blueprint, which you can have access to with your free membership for our podcast portal available at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. And so you'll get to see like our blueprint or our portal is so much more improved thanks to him. He really was hands-on and very involved with all the changes. And it's because of him. It's because of him and our team listening, more importantly, and taking action that our company has been so fortunate to receive more qualified leads and conversations. So it's been really great. Adrian, thanks again for helping us out with US VetWealth. And I really hope that, this conversation inspires you. As always, as I say, how it inspires you to do more than follow orders, think outside the box, and manifest your dreams. We wrap up by talking about entrepreneurship as a commitment, like marriage, and also the importance of consistency and persistence and, creating opportunities for yourself rather than waiting for them. So, Adrian, thanks again for being a part of this show, and thank you for working with us at US VetWealth. And to the listener, we hope you get a ton of value from this conversation. Feel free to stick around in the outro for post commentary. Until then, enjoy.
So in the very beginning, what we did is I told Scott, it's like, you have a very wonderful membership portal. You have 3 areas to say start here and start here and start here. So
we had 3 starts.
3 start areas. If I was going into this portal, but I was brand new, definitely I would think that I'm playing in like an escape room. Like, where do I start? Where do I end up?
That's a good analogy.
So
yeah.
It was really,
that's a good point.
It was very interesting, but I can't just say like, and most people say, based off of my experience, you should do that. Something you should, that doesn't make anyone want to change. So I just asked, hey, let's get just 3 people who or more to want to, go and do a one-on-one research interview with us to see, like, kind of like a focus group, but it's different. A focus group is where you have a lot of people. User interview is like one-on-one. And I even had Jen join on some, and it just opened her eyes. So,
oh yeah, yeah. Which actually, for people who don't know this, like this was very mind blowing for me because in my mind, I thought, oh, you need a focus group to have many people give feedback. But for you, you did this one-to-one user testing, and so guide us through that because it was mind blowing to see, like, wow, you could actually get a lot of feedback from just watching one person, observing one person's actions on your website.
Yeah. I feel like anyone can do this. It's just taking the time to step out of the situation. And as business owners, I've seen that it is hard when you're in the business and you're so focused on what you need to do next, how are you going to bring the next sales and all that stuff. How do I make the customer happy? That you forget that it's already running, and then, now you need to take yourself out, or you might have some blind spots. And that's why when I came in, even Jen knew a lot of what was happening, but couldn't see it as well. And it's not her fault because there's so many other things that were moving. And so I came in to kind of like, hey, well, let's just take a step back and see what we can do. So the user testing was that. So we took one member and we said, hey, here's their membership website. Where would you start? That was
something as simple as that.
Yeah, it could be as simple as that. And you could just watch them, and then it confirmed even my biases. Like maybe they might be able to actually go through it perfectly fine. And then maybe I'm wrong. But it was very evident to see that they were like, wait, where do I start? I see 3. Again, it goes back to the 3 start buttons. Do I scroll to the top? Do I go to the bottom? It says getting start here, or maybe go get this tour, start here. So it was very eye-opening to watch. And then from there, we got to show that to Scott and to show that like, oh, I do need to make a change. I didn't realize that, sometimes you also learn that what I've learned in UX design is that you're not the user.
Yeah, which I was gonna add to that because Scott he said, well, I am the user, as he's the stakeholder, right? Like we're the stakeholders here, and yet his mindset's like, well, I'm going through this. This is for me. Yeah, but it's a completely different experience from someone who's created this portal versus like how do the people we actually want to serve navigate it?
Yeah, and another good analogy for this is like if you have when you have your own computer or desktop or even your phone, you organize your folders the way you would do it. Like, oh, this is where I put all my photos, this is where I put all my files. But if someone else were to take that and try to find that same information, they wouldn't because they didn't organize it. So now it's taking that and trying to say, well, how can it make it so that everyone can see it in the same way and it's not confusing? And that's like the whole back to the house analogy that Jen mentioned, where maybe we just organize a few parts here and then it would be very simple to know that this is the living room, this is the kitchen, And so for us, there was like, where do we create this initial doorway, so that people can get in, understand, what this portal means to them, and then how that they can still be a part of it. So yeah, overall, we did like 3 user testing, and we improved the portal each time to give clarity, and it was great because in the end, we had like only one start button, and it was a good start to finish. People understood what they want. People are now active in the community, and there's less friction, and now more like, again, clarity of, okay, I know this is exactly what I wanted when I came in here. I love what they're providing us. I want to learn more. And then now everything is nice and smooth and running again.
Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, because the calls we've been having as of late have been people who say, I've read your book several times, or I've read into your content, and I really just have like clarifying questions. And the thing is, when people say I've read your book, we do provide it at a price on Amazon.com. But like, we don't actually get a lot of sales there. However, it seems like every single day tend to get new people joining militaryretirementblueprint.com, if not a couple of people every day. And our numbers continue to grow every single day. And the fact that we now seem to have more qualified prospects, like scheduling calls with us, I really want to credit that to you, Adrian, and for you really making the portal digestible for the end user. Because again, it's like you said, our team has worked so hard, first and foremost, to create the brand, to create US VetWealth, and then to create the messaging, and then to do the sales. Like we do everything. But the one thing that is definitely our blind spot is our actual potential prospects receiving this in a way that we want them to receive it. And so I think you really came at the right time to help us with that. And now, we loved it so much. Now we're contracting you to just work with us, continuously. So I want to just, thank you for that. And thank you for adding us to your portfolio, because clearly, in just offering the portfolio, it's kind of like, I think what, in a way, like what you did was like, oh, let me intern here for free. And then the company ended up liking you so much, they wanted to hire you, And so there's a little tip for anyone, any entrepreneur or anyone trying to get their foot in the door. It's like, offer something for free, and if you provide enough value, they may either hire you or they'll refer you to people. Because I definitely know there's some people, I'm thinking one person, honestly, in my head that I would refer to you already working with us, because this person is also building out like a course in our portal. And they've been they've been in their silo like this whole time. They've been in their own little, cave, like building this out. But who knows if they could have spent all this time working on this course, like, will it really resonate with the people actually going through it? So anyway, it's just reassuring also because, as you know, Scott is the visionary, the entrepreneur, he's always the innovator of our business. And I'm more than happy to encourage him to run with his ideas. I just want to make sure we have that filter, like someone like you to help us say, okay, like this will resonate, or like we've done a couple of tests and this is what we found. And, this will probably be better than this option, so just to know that like we could have that, that we do have that opportunity to like know for sure, or at least like as best as we could at this point, that at least what we're trying to put out there, people know the 1, 2, 3 steps, to receive our information or to receive whatever we're putting out there.
Yeah. And very well said, Jen. I want to add to the fact I was going to mention in the same matter, but it is true. Like putting yourself out there in the beginning is not easy. Everyone just, that's a little bit of the 9-to-5 mindset. Like, oh, I got to be paid to do, this hourly work. But when you're starting out and you're trying to do your own thing, people are not just going to pay you if they don't know what you can actually provide yet. So you have to provide value first. So I did like what you said, like, go ask a friend, ask a friend's friend, or someone to see if you're going to go do something, then you're not too sure of it yet, that at least you could test it for yourself to see even if what you're going to be offering is valuable to the marketplace. And I'm really grateful. I did want to touch upon the fact that other than, being a portfolio and even contracting work for me now, it's given me the confidence to, do the thing that I've said in the beginning is not doing something where I have my 9-to-5 job. I'm also being able to create something on the side, something that I actually feel like I want to be doing, and just getting that, the valid feeling that like, hey, I'm actually putting something of value that people would actually want to, work with me, for instance. And it's hard. It's very hard in the beginning because you're in your mind. I don't know how Jen did it from the very beginning, just to go through it year after year. But it's not easy to just like, everyone's like, oh, I want this. I want financial freedom. I want that. We want all these things, but will you put in the effort to do it? So a lot of times we don't, because we feel like, oh, well, it's just go back to what because it's going back to status quo. I feel uncomfortable to step out, and there's so many other good people out there. Everyone started somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So, for me, this is my journey of starting somewhere, but don't get me wrong. There was many moments where I'm just like, oh, I want to do this, but I never took the first step. So sometimes it's just taking that first step. And,
yeah. If you ask me what got me through everything, desperation.
That works. Yes.
Getting fired from 4 jobs in your young 20s and realizing that working with probably wasn't good for you.
Yeah.
Just stumbling through sales and the last decade. Yeah. It just a lot of, I definitely feel like I'm at a place now where I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I think I even started telling you even last year, I was like, you know what? I'm like an entrepreneur. Like, I'm legit. Like, I mean, actually recently I told you that I consider myself an intermediate entrepreneur now, because like all the stuff I used to digest, that was like very, entrepreneur 101 to advance. I've always felt like I've seen like the rags to riches story, right? Of like being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm in the middle because I feel like I know enough to like keep going, and I have like a long way to go to like get to where I want to be. But like, I'm definitely not new in this, right?
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I like it. I like the journey. I like where I'm at. And it's so much better than like, I'm just glad that I stuck it out with the desperation, and I found other sources of motivation that wasn't desperation to, be where I am today and genuinely like enjoy all the things I'm doing, especially, having this opportunity to do this show and then bring you on and work with you, and, and then just obviously with everyone else who's been a part of the US VetWealth community. It's been really, really amazing. So as we start to wrap up here, Adrian, what do you think the future looks like for you? What are your plans and hopes for Suzuki Startups?
Well, I do hope that I continue to build my clientele, my skills, and just continue to put in the effort. Even like I mentioned before, this is just the beginning for me. I don't know where it'll take me, but I do know it's taking me somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I do want to make it where I can continue to help. It taught me a lot when just helping with your business and with Scott, that I can help other people do the same. So I do hope that I can continue to do that. And with that mindset, instead of saying I want this amount of money and in this short amount of time, I realized that doesn't seem to be, it's like trying to tell a seed of a flower, like you just pour water the next day, it's a full grown tree.
Yeah.
This ain't
You're
no
like, why aren't you a tree yet?
This ain't no chia pet, we know what chia pets are. The little thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about everyone else. We might have just aged ourselves.
Chia.
We either aged ourselves or insulted people older than us who know this. But yes, definitely not. Entrepreneurship is definitely not a chia pet. That is absolutely true.
Yeah. If you don't know what a chia pet, just look it up. But it's basically this plant that somehow grows in a day after water. It's crazy. So
it's wild.
It was a very good marketing tool back then.
You know what? I never bought a chia pet, but I always remembered the commercial and like the tune. It was so funny. Yes. And then I learned later in life that you could actually eat chia. Like chia seeds are actually good for you. They're actually really healthy for you.
I thought it was just the name of the brand. It's just like, it's so cute. Like it's
like chia is like, it's like soy, like soybeans.
Yes.
Or it's like tiny seeds, and that's why they or like I can't think of the other tiny seed that like sprouts. It's like sprouts. Yeah. They like root really quickly, right? And so I think that's the reason. And but anyway, I don't know. I kind of want a chia pet now.
Yeah.
Just throwback. Finally buy that chia pet I always saw in commercials that I never bought. But yeah, and also the biggest thing I really appreciated working with you and continuing to work with you is that there's like so much power in the phrase third party is the best party. Uh-huh. Because this, there are so many things that I have been wanting to say to my team. And for whatever reason, it only resonated with them because you brought it up. Yeah. And I think that's also something to keep in mind, to our listeners here, especially if you do have businesses or if you're trying to test out something, is that sometimes it does help to hear a third party who has nothing to do with your business. Yeah. You're more likely to receive what they have to say versus the people you see on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Because, just like some of the brainstorming sessions I'll have at Scott every now and then, I admittingly will tune out a little, and I find comfort because I do record it. But also it's like, it is easy. What I'm saying is it's very easy to tune out the people that you see on a day-to-day basis. And I think that having someone like you come in really gets us to kind of like sit up straight, actually like act like we know what we're doing and all that stuff. So it just makes it better for businesses to have someone such as yourself.
On the whole idea of third party, whether it's a referral or a testimonial or, in this case, even big companies do this all the time. They have to, sometimes they're so into what they've been doing for such a long time, they need a third party to come in and kind of observe, how the employees are doing, how the management is doing, and then give feedback on how they're doing as a whole. And they might see their blind spots finally versus from bottom up saying, I told you so. And then top down, it's like, what are you talking about? So there's always going to be that conflict, but if you have a third party, they can say, well, we're just observing and just letting you know that this is what we see. And then they're like, yeah. So it's like very nice way. It's almost like a therapist.
You're like a therapist for like businesses. Yeah, for sure. So. HR. You're like the HR department.
But hey, it was a big thing here too that Jen and I always do. And when we're just talking, as you see, we didn't really interrupt each other a lot. It's just active listening. It's really hard to listen sometimes. We get so caught up into what we want to do and say, and but when you actually take time to actually hear what the other person's saying, like literally hear, not just like, oh, I heard it and it's gone. It's like you want to be able to interpret that so that you can fully help out, versus just tuning out.
Yeah, or pretending that you are the user, like someone I know. Poking fun at Scott. He's an easy punching bag and he's fine with it.
Yeah.
We work together and we love each other, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, wow, what a great conversation. We just killed 45 minutes there. I'm curious if there's any final closing thoughts you want to share to our listeners here who are aspiring to do more than following orders, think outside the box, and manifest their dreams.
Well, I did want to touch up on one more thing before wrapping up, was like Jen had mentioned that, she became an entrepreneur based off of desperation can be a big motivator. But the one thing I would say that I commend her for is persistence and consistency. It's very hard to keep having to do something and not sure where it's going to go next, but just the faith that like it's going to go somewhere. That's what I feel like a true entrepreneur. You're saying you're an intermediate entrepreneur, but I think you're a true entrepreneur in the long run. That vision of wanting to do something. And I'm saying that even for myself and for others, is if you really want to get through, break through something, it's going to require some sacrifice, some desperation. But there's also the good side of it is if you're just consistent and doing it over and not letting those, your day-to-day motivations pull you down, and you just know that this is really what you want to create, then create it, So that's what I want to finish up here is a lot of times things are created for us. Well, your job is created for you. You have a position there, but to actually create it for yourself, well, that's a different level. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is about as well. Yes, the collaboration, but it's taking control, not the external environment, but your internal environment to do something. So hopefully that helps wrap up. It was both the recap and for you.
Well, thank you. That meant so much. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. And this lifestyle is a commitment. It's like a marriage. It's like you commit to it. You go through the ups and downs, and it's a step into faith every single day is what I often say. And every day is a new day, so thank you for saying that. This life is a very thankless lifestyle. So thank you. I receive. No, thank you. No, you hang up. No, I'm kidding.
I was just kidding.
Oh my God. We'll just end on that. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah. Wonderful. What a great way to wrap up. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Adrian, for being on our show. Thank you for working with US VetWealth. Thank you for being my best friend. And to our listeners, we hope you got a lot of value out of this conversation. Just listen to the outro for, ways to get hold of Adrian. We'll also have his contact info in the show notes. And with that said, I love it. If you're watching video, you should see Adrian's movements with his hands. He's like pointing down. So y'all got to watch the YouTube video of this. It's great. Yeah. But yes, thank you so much for watching or listening. And we'll chat with you in the next episode. Tune in next time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Adrian. Hey, this is your host, Jen Amos. Thanks again for listening to today's episode of Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. Visit holdingdownthefortpodcast.com to access the full show notes of this episode, including resources mentioned and bonus content. Once again, that's holdingdownthefortpodcast.com. Lastly, stay after this outro music for something a little extra. Thanks again and chat soon. Bye for now. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the outro. Fun fact, this is the official, this recording you're watching right now is the official, if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, which we do have a YouTube channel if you've been listening to this on the podcast. This is the official last recording I'm doing in my private office that I've had for a year. I did have another private office, but I moved to this one about a year ago. So overall, having a private office outside of the home office for 2 years. This is the last recording that I'm doing. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for being a part of this journey, to have recorded season 7 of Holding Down the Fort in this office as I start to wrap up. I'm literally going to start packing up as soon as I'm done with this final recording. I have to rush out, actually. I'm in a hurry to get somewhere, but I just wanted to take this moment and share with you how grateful I am. As an entrepreneur who has primarily been working from home for 13 years of her career, the last 2 working in a private office has been life-changing. And I talk all about this in our free portal available to you now at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. And, really what it's meant for someone like me to really have a physical space to call work and to commute here and to now arrive to a place that I've outgrown because I don't like commuting, which I don't think anyone likes commuting. But, to be moving out here and moving out of this private office in a co-working space and, starting a new chapter elsewhere, which you will learn more about in the off season and possibly in season 8. So stay tuned for that. But thank you for being here. I love this office. It's really been my home away from home. It's been my place to have a very sterile environment to just focus on work and nothing but work and no distractions, no husband, no pets, no gardeners outside, no construction, no solicitors knocking on our front door, no food cooking in the kitchen and having to open the windows and air out everything. It's been absolutely amazing to just come to a private office for the last 2 years and just know that I'm coming here specifically because I'm going to work and going to record this podcast. So just want to take this moment. My husband already texted me. He's curious when I'm coming home, so I need to wrap this up, but still want to be very present with you all and share this very, very, very special moment with you. So all that being said, again, if you want to hear me talk more about this, especially if you've always been a work from home person, go ahead and check out the bonus content where I do talk about this in our free portal, which you can join now at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. That's it. This is technically a wrap because I actually already recorded the season finale, and this is the last thing I needed to record because I needed to send this over to my editor, and this is legit the last time I'm going to be recording in this style with this background. So let me just take a moment to take it in before my husband really nags me to drive home. And thank you all for being here with me. And thank you. Just thank you. Yeah, it's a good setup, isn't it? I like this setup. I wanted to use this setup more. It requires that I have to stand on my feet. And it's been great because, you burn calories just by standing. So, all right. Thank you so much. And I hope you all are having a great kickoff to the holiday season. And I look forward to speaking with you in the next episode. Tune in next time.